Hello folks, and welcome back to my channel. This is like a little transition life update video because I know a lot of folks wanted to hear my update on how things are going with my transition and what's going on, so this is one of those. I am gonna kind of do this like a chatty get ready with me and do my skincare and some makeup for the day while we're talking, because I'm actually really nervous to talk about what I'm talking about in today's video, and I feel like I need to be doing something with my hands, or I'm just going to have just the most awkward, nervous hands the whole time. So we're doing this as like a transition update, chatty get ready with me, so I can be occupied. Now, the first update with my transition is actually that I have changed some of my medications. So I have quite recently, about a month ago, decided to add finasteride to my testosterone. And this was something that I had been kind of going back and forth on for a little bit, but after seeing quite a few mutuals of mine on TikTok go on finasteride with some really good results, and like, I don't know, maybe I'm just on a different side of TikTok, but I've been seeing so much content about like, oh, I wish there was like HRT for non-binary people, and people come online and they're like, finasteride and testosterone for AFAB folks. So I guess I've just been seeing a lot of content about it, and that really made me like bite the bullet and decide to start it. And we're a month in, and I'm really enjoying my results so far. And by the way, if I'm mispronouncing anything in this video, especially medication names, just let me know in the comments. I am so not good with medication names, so I'm not going to be surprised if I get this wrong. And you might also be like, well, Lynn, didn't your doctor tell you the medication name? Like, shouldn't you know? And I do all of my gender affirming care online because it is easier for me, especially since I travel for work. And going in person to doctor's appointments can be really stressful. So if I can do most of my stuff through telehealth, I like to. I do all of my medication through Plume, which is an online service for gender affirming healthcare, and it's great. So I have started taking finasteride. I've added that to my medications, and finasteride is a DHT blocker. DHT stands for dihydrogen testosterone, and it is a form of testosterone that your body produces. DHT does a lot of different things, but it's most notably linked to male pattern baldness and hair loss, and also body hair, facial hair, and pubic hair growth. One of the other primary things that DHT is linked with is sebaceous glands, and oil production and oil in your skin. So I'm coming up on 6 months on T, and my biggest complaint so far has been the hormonal acne. I have been struggling with some very bad hormonal acne this whole entire time, and it got like extremely bad in the last couple of months. Not only that, but I was definitely starting to deal with more body hair growth, and I actually wasn't really bothered by it. If anything, I think being on testosterone has really helped me learn to love my like natural body hair and be comfortable and okay with it. But what I can tell you is that the experience of new hair growing certain places, like on my legs, and on certain parts of my torso, has not been really the most comfortable, and that combined with hormonal acne has been a really not great experience. Not only that, but DHT is probably most well known for causing like those particular baldness patterns on the head, and while my biological father has a full and beautiful head of hair, even well into his life, on my mom's side there is some male pattern baldness, so I also don't really want to lose my hair. Now, my original goal in taking testosterone was to take it long enough to see some of the body recomposition changes that I wanted and some of the bottom growth changes that I wanted. And now that we are just past the 6-month mark on HRT, I'm definitely having those changes that I wanted to see. But I've decided that I want to take it a little bit further. I want to continue taking T and have a couple more changes going on. My voice has definitely been deepening, and I've really enjoyed that. And my like body recomposition is still just getting started, and I would like to see how far that goes. And facial changes I feel like are really like just starting to happen, and they're barely noticeable, but they are noticeable. So I had originally thought about only being on T for about 6 months and going from there, but I decided I wanted to continue. However, this hormonal acne has not been great, and I was worried that if I continued on T, I may start to experience some hair loss. So because of both of those concerns, and seeing so much discussion about how helpful finasteride has been for quite a few others, especially non-binary folks that I know, I decided to start taking it. So we are about a month in on finasteride, and it's been pretty great so far. I've definitely noticed a decrease in hormonal acne. I don't know if you can see in this video, but while there is still a lot of acne on my face, it's definitely in like the healing stages. I was getting like a ton of new cystic acne, like every single freaking week. And right now everything I have is stuff that's like been there and is healing and settling. So I've definitely noticed a difference in that. And I have noticed that it's slowed down some of the new hair growth as well. So I'm assuming that also means that it's working to prevent any hair loss, which is exactly what I'd like. Okay. Speaking of wanting to take my transition slowly and transition at the rate and pace that works for me, I have been thinking about top surgery a lot lately. Oh gosh, that feels so scary to like fully actually admit aloud. Yes, I am starting to really consider top surgery. And I'd like to preface this part of this video by saying that this is me talking about my thoughts and my experiences towards top surgery, and this does not necessarily reflect every trans person or every non-binary person. This is just my experience. This is just Lynn. But I have had a lot of discomfort surrounding my chest basically my whole life. And I've just kind of put that in the closet this whole time and not really wanted to deal with it. And now that I'm far enough along in my transition and exploring my experiences with gender and gender identity, I can no longer keep ignoring these feelings. And that's really scary. And I've had not so great feelings about my chest ever since I was young. I did not want to grow up and have really big boobs. And I remember being distraught as a child when it was time for me to get like a training bra and start wearing bras. And I didn't like it. And I tried like ace tape binding a little in high school. Side note, don't do that. It's terrible for you. Stopped doing that very quickly, which is good because it's terrible for you. But I didn't invest in a binder until a couple years ago because, I felt like I wasn't trans enough. So like, why did I need a binder? But I've also just like actively been avoiding dealing with having boobs for a while. I have quite literally owned one bra for the last probably 10 years. And it is a bra that I got in my senior year of high school. And that is the only bra that I've worn. And other than that, I just didn't wear bras. And I was just like, oh, bras suck. Like, I just don't want to deal with them. But I've actually just really been putting off having my chest measured and, like, having to deal with purchasing bras because for whatever reason, well, now we know whatever reason. But my whole life, I've really had a lot of discomfort surrounding bra shopping and bra purchasing. So I finally caved and got measured and figured out my bra size this year and had an absolute meltdown because it was so much larger than I thought it was. And that sent me into like a 4-week-long spiral of dysphoria over my chest. And in like a very manic moment, I like emailed a bunch of surgeons about top surgery quotes and all of this stuff. And I'm fortunately have calmed down a lot since then and started really just like taking my time and thinking about things. I feel like a lot of the media we see online, at least maybe just for me, I see online, is people who have already made the decision to have top surgery, and not only that, but the type of top surgery they want, and they're coming online confident and sure of themselves and sure of this decision and like raising funds towards it and planning for it. Or sometimes it's people who only really post about their top surgery plans once they've had their surgery. And I haven't seen a lot of content about the decision-making process that goes into top surgery. So that's kind of what I wanted to show and talk about today, because if I'm being completely honest, I'm not 100% sure. Okay, that's a lie. I'm 100% sure I want something done to my chest, because I am not happy with my chest the way it is right now. I do not like the size of my breasts. I do not like how they feel on my body. As far as what I want to do with them, what I want for top surgery, that's what I'm not sure of. And I go back and forth. I have days where I'm like, I just want to get rid of them. I hate how they feel. I hate how they feel when I'm sitting at my computer playing games and I just want to like be relaxed, but I just feel like I feel my boobs too much and they're in the way. And I hate how they feel in certain outfits. And I feel like they ruin certain outfits. And I hate how they feel when I'm working out and how they look when I'm working out and how they get in the way. However, there are times where I like having them and I like how they look in certain outfits, and I'm almost certain I would like how they felt if they were much smaller. And I kind of go back and forth on what I think is going to be the right fit for me and for my body. There's definitely a large part of me that thinks like, oh, I want to be like flat. Like I want full top surgery. I want nothing left over. But then there's a part of me that wants maybe a little bit of something left over. Like maybe I'd get top surgery, but instead of going for fully flat, I'd have them leave just a little bit of tissue, almost like the effect of pecs, and then like work out in the gym and work on building more pectoral muscles afterwards. That way I have a little bit of something. And if I wanted to, I could like wear a bra and kind of make it seem like I have boobs, but then I could also not wear a bra and be very obviously flat-chested. There's a part of me that finds that really enjoyable. And then there's a part of me that I think I would genuinely be happy with just having a dramatic reduction and much smaller breasts. But like, I'm talking about like A cups, and a lift so that they sat a little bit better on my body. But I think if I did that, I would want to not keep my nipples. I would want to have breasts, but have them feel a little genderless and a little less feminine. And I think getting rid of the nips is the way to do that. Whereas if I went fully flat or top surgery with just a little bit of tissue left in the area, I would probably keep my nipples. I gotta say, it feels weird to be saying this all out loud. It feels very scary. Full admission, I've already talked to some people in my personal life about my desires for top surgery, and while some people close to me have been very supportive, a lot of people have not, including people who I really thought would have been. Most notably, some queer and trans friends of mine. And I probably should have expected that. And I did expect that from other people's experiences coming out as trans and deciding they want surgery, because they've had the same interactions and talked about it. But I've definitely experienced even queer friends of mine going, oh, but you have such nice boobs. Like, why would you get rid of them? Oh, I love them. Like, don't touch your boobs. And I don't know what it is. And this was not all men either. Some of this was women with like people's fascination about like protecting and keeping breasts and the sexualization of breasts. But boy, it is prevalent. And I am like genuinely nervous filming this video that I'm going to publish this and lose a bunch of followers and a bunch of subscribers because people don't want to see me change my chest. And that's really scary and hard to deal with. And I am like processing it right now in front of you. But you know what? I have spent this whole time talking about my journey of living authentically, and I talk about it all the time with my piercings and my tattoos, and it would be very hypocritical of me to decide to stop living authentically just because it's scary or hard when I'm talking about my gender identity and other work. So we're gonna do it anyway and film and post this video anyway, even though I'm literally fucking terrified right now. Back to the topic at hand. I definitely know I want some form of top surgery, but I just don't know exactly what is right for me. And so right now I'm just researching. I'm in a lot of top surgery groups on Facebook and on Reddit, and I'm looking at different people's results and reading up on different methods of top surgery and talking to people who've had different methods done about their experiences and reaching out to doctors to see what types of procedures they will and won't do. And I wish I was better at Photoshop because I really want to Photoshop my chest in some different ways, and I've tried to, but I think I'm just so hung up on my own body that it's hard for me to edit my own body, so I haven't had too much success with that, but I'm just kind of thinking about it and figuring it out. And of course, like, another really big element of this is like the downtime, because it's going to be like a month of recovery, and that is a month that I cannot work. And so that's really stressful, and I don't really know if it is like the right time in my life to be taking a month off of work like that. So I have to like think about when logistically it would be possible for me to get top surgery. And then of course, like, another big element of it is cost. Top surgery can be very cost prohibitive for a lot of people. I've talked about it here on this channel, but I have had 2 gender affirming surgeries already, both of which I paid for completely out of pocket. And while I was very fortunate to be in a situation and a circumstance of my life that I could do that, I was able to do that while I was working full-time as a piercer and managing a studio. So I was actually making triple, almost quadruple of what I'm making now as a full-time traveling piercer. I make enough to pay my bills and make ends meet as a full-time traveling piercer, but not nearly what I would be making if I was in a studio full-time. And the exchange for me was worth it for my mental health, because my mental health was not doing well. Oh, hello. Hi. Sushi's saying hi. My mental health was not doing well being in a studio full-time, and I needed that break. And right now I'm really enjoying traveling and doing content creation, but it definitely pays a whole heck of a lot less than being in a studio and managing full-time. Also, not being in a studio, health insurance stuff is difficult and weird, and currently I would not have any coverage for most top surgery procedures that are what I would want. And certainly if I decided to go for a non-standard top surgery, like if I decided to go for like top surgery but not being completely flat, or something funky and more non-binary where I had some breast tissue but no nipples, insurance just straight up wouldn't cover that. So it would be completely out of pocket. And so since I'm making a lot less money than I would full-time in a studio, I genuinely would not be able to afford top surgery right now. And that is another hard thing, is that I am a little nervous that I'm going to go down this road of thinking about top surgery and decide that top surgery is right for me, and like make up my mind, figure out the type of surgery I want, figure out a doctor, and not be able to afford it for like 2 or 3 years. And I think that would be very emotionally difficult to live in this body every day once I'd made my mind up that I don't want to anymore. And I think part of why I'm taking so much time to think about this and make sure I'm sure is not only to make sure I'm sure, which is important, but because I'm afraid of making up my mind and then not being able to get the surgery for a while. And I think I'm not alone in that fear. I think a lot of folks who are trans and non-binary can probably relate to that concern. And I wish we talked more about financial insecurity and the cost of these procedures and how that can really affect us mentally, because I think it's an important conversation to have. I also just gotta say that it's been a bit of a struggle to find a surgeon to take me seriously as someone who is non-binary, and that has sucked. It's very early on in me thinking about top surgery and planning for it, and I've just kind of reached out to a few surgeons whose work I like, just to ask questions about their procedure and kind of tell them what I'm thinking of and what I'm debating between. And while most of them that I've reached out to so far have been polite. I definitely had 2 different surgeons basically be like, well, if you're not a trans man and you don't just want like a completely flat male chest, like why would you want this? Like, I'm not going to do this for you. Like, this, you're not who top surgery is for. Despite the fact that I have letters. I have my top surgery letters from my therapist, from doctors. I just don't want the top surgery that they think I'm supposed to want. And that freaking sucks. And it's very invalidating, and it's been very difficult. And when I get those emails, I just kind of like shut down about it for a little bit. And I'm not gonna lie, sometimes it does make me just want to throw in the towel and be like, okay, cool, guess top surgery is not for me. Like, I'm giving up. And it's hard. It has been hard to like push through those emails and continue doing what I know is right for me. And currently, I'm still doing some research. I have made my mind up that I want to do something surgically with my chest because what I have right now naturally is not working for me. But I haven't 100% made my mind up on what direction I want to go with it. And I'm still just doing research and talking to doctors and figuring out what works for my body. And I wanted to come on here and share that because, like I said earlier, I think a lot of folks come online once they've done this work and once they're sure. And I think that's very fair and valid because I am very terrified posting this video. That I'm just gonna lose subscribers and lose support for talking about doing this, but B, that people are going to use my current indecision against me and say that because I'm not like 100% sure right away about what type of top surgery I want or what works right for me, that I don't really want top surgery, or I'm not really trans, or I'm not really non-binary, and I just don't think that's true. And I understand why a lot of folks don't show this part of their transition, because I am like genuinely so nervous just sitting here alone in my bedroom talking into my GoPro about this, about what the reception of this video is going to be and what y'all are going to think about it and about me. But I also know I'm not the only person who has these thoughts and feelings, and for whom transition and surgery is not super black and white. And it's not easy for me to just know that this is what's right for me and exactly what I want. That it's in fact a very difficult decision for me that I really need to take my time with. And that is okay. Your transition does not have to look like, oh, I'm 100% positive this whole way. I've always known this is what I wanted. And especially as someone who's non-binary and not necessarily interested in the strict structures and guidelines of I'm going to be a man or I'm going to be a woman. Of course, there's added layers and added nuance. And I just want to be vulnerable with you all and share that. I think if I keep talking, I'm going to totally cry off the makeup that I just did, which would be very unfortunate. And yeah, so I think this is where I'm gonna wrap stuff, and those are my transition updates. Started taking finasteride, loving it so far, helping hormonal acne a ton, helping with slowing down my transition progress a ton, and just allowing me to feel a little bit more in control of my transition, which for me is great, because I'm not in any rush, and thinking about top surgery, but really thinking I want top surgery that feels more androgynous, and just trying to kind of figure out what that's gonna look like. You are trans or non-binary or just questioning, I just want you to know that whatever your transition looks like, whether you medically transition or not, because you don't have to, whether you take HRT or not, whether you want top surgery or not, and whether these things come easily to you as breathing and you just know in your bones that they are right for you, or whether it takes you years and years of questioning and denial and running away from buying bras to get to the place where you know what you want. your transition is valid, your experience is valid, and I see you and I'm with you, and I hope that by sharing my own kind of messy experience with this, it helps. And on that note, I hope everyone has a great day. I'm gonna go try and have a great day, and I'm sure we'll sit down again and chat soon. Please be nice to me in the comments, because I will cry. All right, bye.